Welcome back, everybody. It is now corn harvest time. And you're saying, well, this is the old combine. And yes, it is. I've run a little bit of corn with it already. There was a point where I was figuring bean harvest was going so slow because of the weather. I would run corn on the wetter days with this, beans with this. And then I checked the corn and it was quite wet, and I decided, maybe it should just sit for a little bit. So got the beans done a couple days ago. Went pretty good. A couple things happened. Overall, the combine performed good, but next to the last day, a pair of knives broke off from here. Throw that out of balance, and boy, it didn't take very long. This it's supposed to be a hinge here. Obviously, they've had problems before, and they made a plate of steel to connect it. But when that's spinning 3,000 RPM, it goes out of balance fast when you lose two knives because a bolt broke. Ooh, anywho, yeah, bolt broke, two knives went really out of balance. I shut her down, see what was vibrating. It was this, but it had done some damage, so I just took that deflector off so I could, because I was almost done. It was one of those days. And when I bought it, I realized them knives are pretty much whipped. I thought, well, I get through harvest, and I can pull that out, replace the knives. I also noticed the chaffer was not in the best shape. That really needed replaced, but I had things adjusted. It was giving me a nice clean sample. Despite all that, you blow enough air through, it'll blow the pods out the back. It's pretty sweet. It's got work lights built right in. There's this valve block right here that just like all the hydraulic functions are in. It's nice and clean now, but someone must have worked on it in the past, and whether they didn't realize it or just didn't have the right stuff on hand, but they put regular O-rings in when it's supposed to have metric. And so let's see, this blew the O-ring, and so I got a metric O-ring kit and replaced that. And I started getting a filthy sample, and I figured out that the oil dripping down, the fan, cleaning fan's right back there, is sucking the oil in. And then the fuzz from the beans had built up on the fan. I wasn't getting good airflow, and then I was getting pods and dirt in. So I brought it back up, hit it with a hot water pressure washer, got that cleaned up. That took care of that problem. That was early on in the season. And then there's another valve that goes in from the front here. I'm not gonna take that panel off. That one blew an O-ring, and that one had too fat of an O-ring in it. It had been sliced, and it was just a matter of time before it gave up. And once again, sucked oil in, so I brought it up, power washed it, and I don't know if the oil blew up in there farther or what, but it just wasn't getting as clean of a sample. And then was trying to adjust things, and a couple of the finger sets have come out of the chaffer. It's not going to last the rest of the season, so I got one of those coming. I knew it was going to need it soon. I was, like I say, and I was hoping I could get through this one. I should have just done the right thing and gotten it from the get-go. That's part of buying used equipment, is, you know, they're probably trading it off because there's things that need replaced and whatnot, and they need the write-off for a new machine. I don't know. But anyways, so I got that all dried up, and the fan's fairly clean. It probably wouldn't hurt to have another washing, but another thing is I hadn't changed it. It takes a different faceplate on the corn head to mount to the new combine. I hadn't changed that yet because I thought I might possibly be using this while I'm running beans, switching back and forth, and that'd be a lot easier. So in the interest of keeping going, and yeah, it's kind of hard to, I show you the chaffer up in there with these spinners back here for the chaff spinners. Kind of makes it, I better turn off that battery or that light so I don't run down the battery. Makes it a little harder to get up in there with the camera. I'll show you on the 8570. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with this for now, give the old girl some time. The stuff I ran the other day, it did great. And that new chaffer is supposed to be in probably about a week. Has to come in a stock order because it's oversized. But it won't take long to switch out, and then we can get the head on this combine and run some with that. Okay, this is the chaffer in the 8570. I just replaced this a couple years ago on this one. But you can adjust these fingers, the opening on them, and that controls how much stuff gets through and essentially how clean your grain gets. And the fan up there is blowing air through, so all the fines and the light stuff get blown out the top. And depending on this, you know, what you're harvesting, corn or beans, you tweak these settings to get your good clean sample. So anyways, that new combine, I say new, it's 11 years old. Way these work, they go back and forth. They oscillate back and forth. That helps shake the grain through while it's all, and keep it moving back. And all that repetitive moving back and forth, these are all on little pins. Can't hold the camera and the light. And those pins get worn over the years from just all that back and forth movement. They get looser, they shake more, and they'll actually wear right through. And that's what's happening on that other one. They're flopping around loose. A couple of them have fallen out. And that means more crap goes down on the bottom, so it makes more work for the sieve that's underneath. And then you end up sending more through the return elevator. So it just not a good thing all around. So I'm going to use this one until the new one gets in for the new combine. We'll switch back. Oh, I do want to add, I love this draper head. Wow, it just performed great. Granted, it's only 3 years old. But nah, just everything worked awesome on it once I got her all dialed in. That's definitely the way to go. It was a frosty one this morning, and I've tried running frost through the combine before and made that mistake. Plugs up those sieves I was just talking about. The chaffer, that frost just kind of freezes onto them. But stuff's getting dried off pretty good where the sun's shining, so we can get at her. It's a long drive to the field today. Just gonna work here at home. This should be some relatively dry corn. The stuff I ran, I opened up another field with the 8570 to make it easier to get in for beans with the 9795. Save me having to drop the head off to go to another field. And that stuff was 21%. This should hopefully be a little bit drier. Sorry I didn't make more videos during, or well, basically almost any videos during soybean harvest, but things were running so far behind, I just didn't even grab the camera. I just didn't want to take the time to slow myself down making videos when I had beans to harvest. This is not the latest I've ever finished. I think it's about the latest I've ever started, so I made good time once things got going. So that ain't the issue. That should work. Well, not looking too bad so far. Little weeds on the headlands. Don't know what the deal is there. It's definitely getting some weed pressure. Just got sprayed, got a little bit of rain on, and then that was it for like over a month. I'm amazed the stuff's doing as good as it did. This is some of that I cultivated. There's a video on that. I think it helped. Spots where it was weedy, it was just weedy in the row and seemed to clean up in between the rows. Every little bit helps. Yep, just meeting up to the headlands here. That's why there's only half the head getting used. No, now we're up to 4 rows. So it's not going to be a banner year for corn, but it's going to be a lot better than I was thinking for a while there. Somebody hit a deer up there about 2:30 this morning. They do like to cross right in this area, so whoa. The header switch stuck down for a moment there. Good thing I didn't pick up a rock or something. Anyways, this should slow the deer down a little bit. I'm not saying it won't cross here, but usually when they come out of the corn and there's a clearing, they stop for a moment. And if people driving along can see them coming out, they got a little bit of a headway or whatever. It's currently hunting season, so hopefully the guys are helping clean up the excess. They're more than we need by a long shot. All you hunters out there, start shooting does. All them antlers are is just soup stirrers. You don't need them. Stuff's still a bit wet from that frost melting, but that's going all right. Yeah, I remember when I was cultivating this spot, boy, the corn was just, it was so pathetic. Any spot there was chickweed, spray pretty much eventually killed it, but it was so dry, the chickweed dried the ground out and the corn was just itty bitty, like just 3 or 4 leaves. The rest of it was probably twice that. I'm just amazed that it popped out like it did. They've come a long ways in corn breeding and just my career of farming. I know when I first started, a lot of that would have never bounced back. It just would have, it would have made something, but not like this did. Uh-oh, driving crooked. Got used to that longer auger on the 97, 95. I didn't get quite close enough. Still just a little bit. How embarrassing. I will say, nice as a job as this does, boy, that 97, 95 unloads fast. I mean, that one was doing a nice job too. 8570 still doing a good job. Let's go test the moisture. Oh, this baby's so old, I gotta wait for it to warm up. But it does a great job. Got our 5-ounce sample. Let's see what it says. About 15.5, but it's also only probably about 40 some degrees. So I think we've got to add about 2 points to that. Yeah, easily a couple points. What did I say? Oops. Yeah, it's showing just under 16, I guess. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Oh, look at that. Probably did it too soon. I can live with that. It's better than I thought it would be. Or it's definitely dried down since I tested it before, so that should save me some dollars. And it goes faster too. That dryer will go right through up to 21%. I gotta pace it back for the augers, but once you get over 21, then the augers can take it away as fast as it can dry it. So I should be able to make good time. I might have some that I can stick straight in the bin before it's all said and done. That would be nice. That definitely goes fast. Now let's speed this process up. I was going to guess probably closer to 20. But this last week we had several days, we got up to 60, had some good breezes. I bet I lost a couple points this last week. A couple of percentage points. Both of these wagons will fit in there, plus probably one more. I like to get it all filled up. Then when I start filling the dryer and stuff, I do other things to get the bins open up and ready. That'll probably be a separate video. Takes a little bit of cooking when you first fill it up to get it dried out before you turn it on to dump. So, yeah, to rate this stage going, that'll probably be another video. Well, I'm out in the part where I plowed with the purple tractor back in the spring and the 1800. I think this stuff got off to a better start. That plowed ground warms up quicker. I'm a no-till the majority of my corn, but just playing around a little bit here, and we had a cold start to our spring, so I got a good stand on this. It'll be interesting to see how it compares to stuff right over there that was no-tilled in. I knew it was more than half full when I come around the end there, but I thought, it's close. She's yielding pretty good. I guess I'll have to pull out early, go dump. Otherwise, I'll have cap corn. What's my shadow say? It's not running over yet. The engineers must design these so that the cab, the corner of the grain tank is lowest, is always closest to the cab. Of course, guys stop and that helps push the grain forward, but you never hear about engine corn, just cab corn. Well, I think that's enough to make a video, at least for this time around. Like I say, I'll make one of getting the dryer going. We'll do that in a separate video. Got plenty going on in this one, I guess. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you tune in again. And we will see you in the next one.